The youth wing of the ruling party Nuratan calls university graduates to find work in the country's rural areas after the completion of their studies. The patriotism is encouraged through the provision of financial benefits, relocation allowances, low interest rate loans and higher salaries.
Activists of the organization Kazakhstan called university students to find work in the villages after finishing their studies, including the relocation allowance of $6,000, 25% salary increase, and this year innovation 15-year credit plan with the interest rates of just 100%. The program has no age requirements, and the only condition is for the participants to be originally from urban area.
Only city residents who came to live to rural areas and register there since the beginning of 2009 are eligible for the benefits.
Village administration will provide city residents with free temporary rooms in dormitories for 2 months, but then the housing issue will have to be dealt by the participants of a 5-year-long program on their own. Since its launch in 2008, 56 people took part in the project, in contrast to the 4,000 vacancies.
Perhaps it makes sense to send village residents who study in the city back to their settlements after the graduation. Alternatively, there could be a requirement of working for 2 years in the rural areas at the end of studies. At least it would be fair for everybody.
The 25-year-old business analyst Larissa Khan says that she does not want to spend 5 years of her life in the village.
It
is better to be a fool among the smart than other way around. I think it is better to achieve something, even some small victories among the competitive people, rather than doing that in the middle of nowhere.
Zhanat Akanov believes that this program of support to the rural area looks more like an image campaign of the ruling party.
On Wednesday, Grigory Marchenko, the head of the Kazakh National Bank, spoke to the students of the Kazakh State University about the current situation in the country's economy, although not mentioning its poor condition. The head banker urged students that everything is fine, while the multi-billion-dollar foreign debt or the nearly collapsed banking system are the problems caused by the distrust of depositors, which is apparently normal.
The decision concerned tendencies and perspective of Kazakh financial market. According to The Economist, currently the country enjoys stability with the GDP higher than in most post-Soviet states. The only remaining problem is the population's deposits, as most people still have little trust in banks, preferring to store their assets at home. Given that Kazakhstan does not have many banks and most of them are foreign, Marchenko says that it is not a big problem for the financial life of the country.
There are many issues, including with the quality of banks' portfolio. There are, however, medium-term problems that cannot be dealt with quickly. Another issue is the large external debt. We hope to completely resolve this after the signing of the agreement on Turan Bank on May 28.
According to the experts, the country and its citizens were avoided by the crisis for the most part. Apparently, the blame for the predicament falls exclusively on financial institutions, which failed to calculate all risks, and also Kazakhstan's $112 billion external debt. At the same time, Marchenko completely avoided talking about the responsibility of the National Bank and its management. Kazakhstan cannot repay its debt by simply collecting funds of the ordinary citizens, as it will lead to the overwhelming poverty. The National Bank's chairman proposes to look for alternative sources, never specifying what exactly those are. Perhaps he refers to the Russian model, where an oligarch is chosen as a scapegoat and then his assets is confiscated and used to patch up the budget.
There should be no concerns about the condition of Kazakhstan's external debt after the amortization of banks' liabilities if we will not consider the internal errors.
Meetings such as this are held on a regular basis, and the organizers believe that students of economic and legal departments must learn firsthand how the country's economy is being built and managed. Given that it is actually on the verge of collapse, it seems that young people are simply trained to continue the process, or at least will not question the current course.
A peculiar exhibition was held in Almaty on Wednesday, showing the achievements of Kazakhstan in the field of blocking popular internet websites like LiveJournal, Blogspot and the portal of the newspaper Respublika.
Activists of the campaign presented the city residents with a model of the future of internet communication. The pink keyboard with paper planes represents the future email, and the notebook is a personal blog. In addition, volunteers called the participants of the Telecommunications and IT Expo held next door to join the Kaznet Freedom Movement. Everyone interested was given leaflets with the explanation how to bypass internet blocking. Unlike usually, the law enforcement agencies didn't respond to the action in any way.
We encourage all Kitel participants and citizens of Kazakhstan to sue the Information Ministry. Our activists have filed already 120 acts against it and efforts to regain the access to blocked websites.
The problem with the freedom of speech in Central Asia was also discussed during the international conference in Dushanbe, Tajikistan. Journalists of regional media report about the authoritarian regimes attempting to control the entire information space, although not everyone is ready to accept the situation.
The OSCE Forum participants from Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan reported that they have no special problems with access to information. Not everyone believed them, of course, but it still left representatives from Kazakhstan to take a rap from the entire region. They talked about numerous violations of the legislation and the illegal blocking of the internet resources.
The site of the newspaper Respublika is being blocked and no one takes the responsibility for doing so. According to the portal staff, it is being done by the local monopolist Kazakhtelecom. The hard copies of the newspaper are published using office copying equipment and a stapler, as not a single printing house of the country dares to work with it.
Human rights activists saying that the region's mass media are forced to work underground and even the internet can no longer be safe from the government censorship. There is a real struggle for the right to disseminate and acquire the information. Sadly, this happened in the 21st century, widely recognized as the age of information technologies, except that Central Asia regimes are actually fighting against them, say experts.
There's a real war of the media freedom and the authorities. There's no stable and calm environment for the safe development of independent press and the internet. We regularly encounter illegal blocking of websites, although there are no official reasons for why it happens. However, when we test the network, it becomes obvious that the national carrier cuts off the access to all political resources.
The undisputed authority in the field of protection of media freedom is an ex-OSCE representative, Miklos Harashti. He said that in Kazakhstan, the country currently chairing the OSCE, an internet regulation law was passed in 2009, and now information resources are being blocked and closed, which contradicts to the principle of organization, and as well as main provision of constitutional laws of its member states.
We know that it is happening what is called blocking, filtering and blocking papers. There have been orders to stop papers like in the case of Respublika, and I believe that this is not the way. Those blockings have to cease, and only in cases when clearly bad content like child pornography or others have to be measured, applied, and even then only through judges and not by authorities.
News agency Fergana.ru reports that an attempt to draw attention to the human rights issue in Kazakhstan was made on Wednesday in the USA. People holding posters with pictures of the famous human rights activist Evgeny Zhovtis picketed the Kazakh embassy in Washington. This is the way Zhovtis' friends and colleagues are trying to bring more publicity to the case, which saw the activist sentenced unfairly to 4 years in a colony. These were all the latest updates from Kazakhstan. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.